Hello, my name is Shannon Nash, and I'm an action-based learning facilitator for Ridgemont Elementary and the Early Literacy Center. Action-based learning is an instructional strategy based on brain research that supports the link between academic performance and physical activity. Research shows that the more that you engage the brain in physical activity and movement that is intentional, students' academic performance can increase. Not only with academic performance increasing, but also supports their social emotional learning. This is so important because I know that it can be frustrating now when we have to be learning in a new environment such as the home. It's going to be important for us to realize as adults, for ourselves as well as for our children, when it's time to take a break and how we can teach them to learn in new ways, particularly utilizing intentional movement to help facilitate that learning. So today, I'm going to focus on Foundation 1, cross-lateralization, or crossing the midline. Action-based learning is developed on 12 foundations of learning. They all target filling developmental gaps that may or may not exist. If they don't exist, we merely strengthen those connections in the brain that support our learners. So crossing the midline, what does that mean? Well, our body has corresponding midlines, maybe from front to back, side to side, and up and down, that correlate to those same midlines in our brain. When we cross from one side to the other, we send messages from that side of the hemisphere to the other across the corpus callosum, where we strengthen neural connections. So today we're going to focus on simple movements that you can do in your home that support your learner by crossing the midline. Crossing the midline is also important for reading and writing skills. And finally, organizing our brain for learning. So let's take a look at how we can do that. The very first one is simple, where we can stand with our feet shoulder width apart. We're going to step across, together, and then we'll jump. You'll notice that we cross the midline from side to side, and then we also engaged our brain by going up and down. So one way that we can do that is utilizing our multiplication facts, where I could say 3 times 3 equals 9. Another way that I did that was with utilizing number bonds. I have my son here that can help us with that. When we worked on our number of the day was number 10. We broke apart number 10 in various ways. So you can see on the board, we have 10, 0, and 10. So he's going to demonstrate a few of those where he crosses the midline while saying them. Go ahead.
0 plus 10 equals 10. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 2 plus 8 equals 10.
Thank you. Excellent job. That's one way that we can utilize by crossing the midline and saying those number bonds, the whole number of 10, and then showing the parts, how it's broken apart. Another way that we can use it is a brain break. Simply taking a break from our task as an adult that we're working on, or when your child is transitioning from reading to math and you notice that it's time for a break. Have them challenge the brain. The brain loves a challenge and also likes something novel. So we can still do our step cross, but then make it a little more difficult where we're changing and step crossing with our arms and our legs at the same time. Lastly, I would like to demonstrate a bilateral crawl or an alligator crawl. Again, I'm going to have my son come out and help us, where it's like an army crawl where they're going to be reaching and pulling across in opposition, but are laying on the floor. Notice, looking for opposite arm, opposite leg. I use cups and sight words here that you could easily do if you had these cards. And if you don't have these cards at home, that's okay. You can simply make them. I took a white piece of paper and I wrote the word look on one side and to demonstrate, as well as a multiplication fact where you can just make it in a tent and easily place it here in a row for your learner to travel by. You could use science terms, math facts, anything that's going to support your learner with layering and academic content. Go ahead, let's demonstrate that alligator crawl. Go.
home, kind, off, different.
As they're moving, we're looking for that opposite, 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 opposite. Those are some things that help you to cross the midline and organize the brain for learning. Lastly, you could use letter and number recognition, you could use independent reading, content review, as well as just about anything way you can integrate that academic content into that learning. So, if you would like to learn more about action-based learning, as well as resources for action-based learning at home, please check out our Fort Bend ISD ABL at Home website. That's located with our Learning at Home resources, and you'll find more examples of the foundations and ways you can use those at home. Thank you, and don't forget, crossing the midline powers up neurons.